Hi, I'm John Waterhouse, and this is Weekday Wisdom. My question for you today is, do you know how to avoid being judgmental? Judgment is something that we all know we're not supposed to do, yet so many times in our lives, it's exactly what we do. We fall into that trap. But the question is, are there ways that we can avoid that in the moment when something is happening? So to explore that, I have a story for you, and it's about avoiding judgment. It's a story about Jerry, who had returned to his hometown to attend a wedding of a friend he had known most of his life. At the wedding reception, he saw Mr. Clark, one of his grammar school teachers, who looked much older but was still recognizable. Jerry approached his teacher. He said hello, and he asked him, "Do you remember me?" Mr. Clark answered, "No, not really. Who are you?" So Jerry introduced himself. "Ah, you were my student when you were in the third grade. Wow, that was a long time ago. How's your life? What are you involved in?" Jerry said, "I'm a teacher." Mr. Clark said, "That's wonderful. What inspired you to become a teacher?" "You did, sir," Jerry replied. Mr. Clark asked, "How did I inspire you to become a teacher?" Jerry answered, "I saw the incredible impact that you had on me, and I realized what an impact I could have on children and teenagers if I could be like you. So I decided to go into education." Mr. Clark said, "So what type of impact did I have on you?" Jerry explained. "One day during lunch, I stole a beautiful and probably expensive pocket watch from a guy in our class named Fred. He left it on his desk, and I just picked it up and put it in my pocket. His mother had given it to him for his birthday. After lunch, Fred realized that it was gone and announced to the whole class and to you that somebody had stolen his watch. I remember vividly how you addressed the class that afternoon, asking whoever had taken it to return the watch to Fred. I was too embarrassed to fess up and return the stolen watch, especially in front of everyone. So you, Mr. Clark, locked the classroom door and asked everyone to line up in front of the room and to close our eyes. We all did as you said. I was terrified. Then from one end of the line, you went into each student's pocket, one at a time. When you came to me, search my pocket, you found the watch and gently pulled it out. But surprisingly, you didn't stop there. You continued moving from pocket to pocket all the way to the end of the line. Then you told us it was okay for us to open our eyes and return to our desks. And in front of everyone, you returned the watch to Fred. On that day, you saved my soul. You saved my dignity. And you gave me direction for the rest of my life. You never said anything about the incident to anyone, not to Fred, who was very happy to get his watch back, not to anyone, and most surprisingly, not even to me. Jerry, with a hint of tears in his eyes, went on to say, "You taught me the true value of being a teacher, the virtue of being an educator without judgment. I knew immediately that this was the way I wanted to spend the rest of my life." Mr. Clark listened to Jerry's story attentively. "That's wonderful. But truth be told, I really don't remember much about that story you just shared with me." Jerry was amazed. This was the story that guided him to his calling, and his teacher just could hardly remember it had ever happened. "Wow, Mr. Clark, you really don't remember the story? When you see me and you hear my name, how could you not remember this story that I stole the pocket watch? I'm sure you remember that unique and unusual ritual of lining us up and how you wanted not to embarrass the thief. You asked everyone to close their eyes. You really don't remember that I'm the person who stole the watch?" Mr. Clark replied, "Actually, I don't remember much about this." "Well, there's not really much to remember." "Why not? It's a pretty dramatic story," Jerry said. Mr. Clark concluded, "What I do remember is that I was moving from pocket to pocket with my eyes closed, too." What a brilliant example of being proactively non judgmental. He didn't want to know. And what I learned from this is that there are times when I can choose to avoid being in judgment by avoiding circumstances that would easily lead to that result. I'm also called to remember that it is more virtuous to avoid being in judgment than it is to offer forgiveness. So I invite you to sit with this for a while and see if there aren't some other learnings in there for you. And while you're doing that, have a fantastic day.